Justin, can you give me a rundown of where you're at and who you are and what you do?
Sure. So name is Justin Phelps. Currently am employed with 0 Point Home Loans, um, located in Aurora, Colorado, which is just about 20 miles or so southeast of Denver.
Ah, great. And yeah, Colorado is a bit of a tough state for mortgage lead generation, I hear. So and we have sort of experience in the past. So this will actually be a good interview, I think. Um, what was your situation? So, why did you kind of want leads? Like, what's your story?
So I'm coming out of corporate America. Was a sales manager for the last 3 years for fintech, so merchant service industry. Um, really was just kind of getting burned out, with the whole just corporate game, right? That you kind of have to play. And I had a really good friend that's been in the loan services industry for quite some time, and he helped me close on my second home loan and then refinanced it. So felt like I kind of had a lot of experience just with that. Um, Really just kind of seeing how well he was doing, and him and his boss really kind of recruited me pretty heavily to come on board. So was in a position to where I felt like I could actually step away, and still kind of have a little bit of cushion there, right, to kind of make that transition. So I just really felt like it was a natural transition. The job that I did in merchant services compared to what I do as an LO, very similar with the process of obviously helping out a customer, kind of on that consultative approach. Getting them in the right product, getting them through underwriting. All of these things really are what you do in the merchant service industry as well. So it really just was a natural transition for me.
Yeah, great. Okay, that's good. And why did you sort of feel that you needed to jump on leads right away, then kind of wait and, do some cold calling or, those sorts of things?
Well, I think the advantage that I had really was, working in a call center, to where it's all about, lead generation, um, really knowing how that works. So I think I might have been a little bit ahead of the curve compared to some other, newer loan officers out there, knowing that that's pretty much going to be our bread and butter. I mean, self-source obviously is, I think, what a majority of folks do and go out and try to, hunt realtors all day long. Um, but I really felt like I needed something a little bit, more, right, to kind of get on the fast track a little bit sooner. But just being familiar with how leads work, closing percentages, and how I train my team, to follow up and treat referrals. I just really felt like it was going to give me an advantage just to get this going a little bit sooner than later.
Yeah, great. Okay, so you sort of saw the power of lead generation and what that could do in addition to the referrals and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I'm curious, how, like in your experience, how fast did the program work for you?
You know, Surprisingly, it worked pretty much immediately. I remember when you guys, turned my lead gen on. I think I got a lead that same night, and I think I got one every day for at least the next, 4 days or so. I don't think I've gone, more than a day, without a lead coming in. So I was definitely surprised with just how fast. I mean, I know when we initially spoke that the expectations in Colorado, we set were pretty, lower, right? Wanted to obviously be optimistic, but I like the fact that, you weren't kind of talking it up, a bunch. So it's always better to, over deliver for sure. So I think that's kind of what happened in this situation.
Yeah, great. Okay, no, I like that. And so then can you run me through kind of some of the results that you've been getting, like in terms of contact rates, leads kind of moving through the process? Have you got any percentages around any of that? Or, just kind of what in terms of results, especially around contact rates, because that's a big thing in the industry, and also, closing type percentages, those sorts of ones.
Yeah, for sure. Most importantly is getting on these leads, right away. So I feel like, the fact that I jumped on them, as soon as possible. I would say within an hour, some cases within minutes, right, if I'm available. That was key. So I think, up until the holiday weekend, I was running at about 80% contact rate, which I thought was phenomenal, and
Mm,
that's a mixture of all the different types of leads that we're getting in. So
mm.
I would say, about 80. And then, had I not, given the customers, that holiday weekend, I would say that it would probably maintain that 80. So that's what I expect, moving forward.
Yeah, great. Okay, and that's a really good like contact and connection rate. I'm like that's phenomenal. Like, what would you say is your secret to that?
Really, it's just getting on them as soon as you can. It's really, you have to look. It's funny because this is your own business. Majority of loan officers are 1099. In essence, we're self-employed. We don't. A lot of us work from home. We're not in office, so we don't really have managers breathing down our necks about pipelines and making phone calls. So it's very easy to slack off, right, when you're working from home. When you're paying for these leads yourself, and like, again, you're not having somebody there holding you accountable. So holding yourself accountable to this, knowing that this is your own money that you're investing into these referrals, into these leads, I think is key. We don't have a corporation that are handing these down. Like, this is coming out of our pocket. So the quicker that we can get to these leads that are coming in, the better off we're going to be. And I think that's just the secret. It's calling, and if you don't get them on the first try, you keep calling. I think right now we're looking at about, if you don't get them right away, it's 4 or 5 phone calls, but they're gonna pick up, right? They filled out that survey for a reason. I'm the same way. I fill out surveys sometimes and I don't pick up, but it's the ones that keep calling me, I eventually do. So you kind of have to put yourself in your customer's shoes and realize that they filled it out. Maybe they don't feel like dealing with it at that moment, but they filled it out for a reason. So just making sure that you stay on them is important.
Yeah, great, great. And like in terms of lead quality, like what have you found? Have you had some quality conversations? Are people moving through the application process? Like what's happening there?
Yeah, for sure. We're getting a little bit of everything, right? So obviously there's a lot of credit repair out there. I think a lot of Americans, they're just not in an awesome credit position. So you're looking at 30, 60, 90-day pipelines for sure. And the ones that come in that are qualified, and I think those are the ones that are moving through the process relatively quick, right? So I have probably 2 out of 8, maybe, I'm trying to think, that are qualified. I haven't looked at the spreadsheet, but I'd say 2 out of 8 right now, definitely moving through the process. So that's kind of right where my expectation was from the beginning, as far as percentages of closable leads within 30 to 60 days. So I'd say it's right there.
Yeah, that's good. And again, just for clarity, that you've had a lot more leads than that, but that 2 in 8 is a good percentage for you. Like that's a good kind of percentage that are moving through that process to close in that 30 to 60-day window.
For sure, and I don't have a ton of experience with mortgage lead systems and or marketing programs. I did interview quite a few companies, and a lot of them were honest, and I think they were more like 1 in 10, 1 in 15, 1 in 20. To me, that just felt like it just wasn't good enough.
Okay.
So coming in at 2 and 2 out of 8, I felt like is definitely like way better.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that it's probably gonna maintain that as well. So
Yeah. Awesome.
definitely
No,
happy with
that's
it. Yeah.
that's really good. And all right, so in your opinion, do you think that this system could work for other LOs? Like, was it like what I guess, what's your take on the ability for an LO, like any LO, to follow the system and get similar results for themselves?
Yeah, I think they have to go into this, kind of with that mindset of, right, this is my business. Knowing, based on what you guys, kind of coach us in the beginning, how important hopping on these calls and these referrals and giving them a call as soon, as soon as possible, like 15 minutes if you can, right? So anytime that I've returned a phone call that quickly, I've had somebody pick up. The longer that you wait, obviously, the longer it's going to take for them to either call you back or pick up. So as long as they come into this and, really listen to what you guys were, are preaching and what you're saying and what you're training them on, I feel like it could work whether you're, brand new in the industry, or, if you're experienced, and you've gone through maybe other marketing firms, and something happened, not happy with the results, and you just kind of want to shake things up and try something new. I definitely feel like as long as they kind of follow the program, that it doesn't matter where you're at, in your time frame within the industry, I think it would definitely work for anybody.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And all right, well, that's pretty much all of the questions that I have. Is there anything that you really wanted to add or recommend or anything like that?
No, I think a lot of people, hopefully would do their due diligence, and just like I did. And, I really found the process, starting off with my salesperson. I think the connection that I had with her initially is probably what made me decide, to go with you guys, right, initially. And then, speaking with you, and just, the willingness for you to kind of work through some stuff, just to make sure that we're getting this right. Just little things like, tweaking the spreadsheet, or, the CRM, or, just making sure that I'm happy, and taking my, my phone calls and returning my emails, and stuff like that. So, I was upfront with you in the very beginning that that's extremely important to me, is, this is an investment in my future, my family, and that, getting, that responsiveness from you guys as a company is extremely important. So, just really appreciative that I've gotten that so far, and definitely happy with the process.
Yeah, fantastic. Justin, thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Ryan, my pleasure.